Bon, maintenant il faut rencontrer ce Casius. N'oublie pas, Sigurt, cet Impérial est un allié de Rigmor. On a besoin de lui. Ce n'est pas lui précisément qui est responsable de la mort de ta mère. Respire profondément.
Puis-je vous aider?
Que se passe-t-il ici?
Ah, satané coup du sort, coincé ici, bloqué. Ma mère, ma pauvre mère, immobile. Pas moyen d'avancer.
Qu'est-ce qui vous arrive?
Pauvre Cicéron est coincé. C'est évident, non? Je transportais ma chère mère adorée. Enfin, pas elle, son cadavre. Elle n'est plus. Je conduis mère dans sa nouvelle demeure, une nouvelle crypte. Mais fichu roue de chariot, elle s'est cassée. Vous voyez?
Ouais, ça bloque la route vers Blancherive. Je vais vous filer un coup de main.
Oh oui, oui. Vous pouvez en effet aider pauvre Cicéron. Allez à la ferme Laureus. Juste là, en quittant la route. Parlez à Laureus. Il a des outils, il peut m'aider. Mais il ne le fera pas. Il refuse. Persuadez Laureus de réparer ma roue. Et pauvre Cicéron vous récompensera en pièces d'or, de belles pièces luisantes.
Oh, pour l'amour de Mara, quoi encore?
Le petit homme là, il aurait bien besoin de votre aide. C'est pour son chariot.
Qui ça? Cicéron? Comme vous dites. Ce fou m'a déjà posé la question au moins 5 fois. Il semblerait que ma réponse ne lui convienne pas. Pourquoi ne nous laisse-t-il pas en paix?
Certainement parce que vous ne l'aidez pas. Allez, je suis sûr qu'il vous rémunérera.
Me payer? Vous pensez vraiment que c'est une question d'argent? Vous l'avez vu? Il est complètement fou. Un bouffon, ici, en bord de ciel. Ça fait bien un siècle qu'on n'a pas vu un homme joyeux par ici. Il transporte une sorte de grande boîte. Il dit que c'est un cercueil et qu'il y a sa mère dedans. Tu parles. Elle peut contenir n'importe quoi, cette boîte. De la contrebande de guerre, des armes, du skouma. Très peu pour moi.
Bon, cessez vos enfantillages et allez l'aider.
Quoi? Mais vous êtes qui, au juste? À peine arrivé, vous me dictez déjà ce que je dois faire? Et pourquoi? Pour aider ce fou?
Je me nomme Sigurt, Tan de Blancherive.
Dites, Oui, vous avez raison. Fou ou pas, cet homme a besoin d'aide. Si je lui tourne le dos, qu'est-ce que ça fait de moi, hein? Au fait, merci. Je m'excuse de mon manque d'amabilité. Si vous allez voir Cicéron, dites-lui que je viendrai bientôt l'aider.
Bien, Blancherive n'oubliera pas votre bienveillance.
Pauvre mère. Sa nouvelle demeure semble si loin.
J'ai échangé avec Laureus. Il est d'accord pour réparer votre roue cassée.
C'est vrai? Vraiment? Oh, quelle gentillesse! Cicéron est aux anges! J'exulte, je suis fou de joie! Il n'y a pas de mots! Mais surtout, ma mère vous remercie. Voici pour vous, pour la peine, de l'or clinquant, quelques pièces pour cette bonne action. Oh, j'apprécie. Merci encore.
Prenez garde sur votre route. Mais si vous avez des soucis près de Blancherive, dites que vous connaissez le Tan Sigurt. Bon, il vaut mieux qu'on enfile ses uniformes maintenant.
Ok.
Espérons que ça suffira. Qu'est-ce qu'il t'arrive?
Is that a skirt?
Non, c'est une robe de combat?
Dress! You know, it really suits you.
Oh, Rigmor, c'est pas le moment.
How do I look?
Avec tes 2 petites guiboles qui dépassent, tu as l'air parfaitement ridicule.
I wonder if the Legion wears underwear.
Tu sais, des fois je me fais du souci pour toi. Allez, concentrons-nous.
Okay, focus.
Hey,
Enchanté, Casius.
well met. I've been expecting you.
On m'a envoyé transmettre un message. C'est urgent.
This changes things. Have you spoken to Yngol?
Oui, il vous envoie ses salutations.
I bet he does, that old fox. And I take it this pretty young thing is Rigmor?
Well met.
Please, sit and help yourself to refreshments. What is it?
Casius, pourquoi avoir posé le camp à la frontière de Blancherive et du Clos?
There have been raiders crossing the border here and ransacking the farmsteads. I had the outpost built in an attempt to put a stop to them.
Yngol semblait penser que ça cachait un projet plus offensif.
Does he now? I like to cause him a few sleepless nights from time to time, but these raiders are a more serious cause for concern. My presence has deterred them from this area, but now they are striking other areas and returning to Fort Dunstad. I can't cross over the border into the Pale to deal with them, for fear of it being seen as an act of aggression from Dawnstar.
Nous sommes neutres, vous savez.
Are you suggesting a special operation? I like the sound of that, Guardian. You would have my gratitude.
Ouais, autant y aller discrètement, sans laisser de témoins, et sans rien dire au Jarl.
Excellent. It's not far from here. Follow me. Bandits, raiders, and thieves! You have been warned to stay out of Empire territory. You have chosen to ignore the warnings, but I give you one last chance to disband and disperse.
Well, if it isn't Captain Varon of the Imperial Guard, aren't you missing something? Like your army? Maybe he's drunk on mead, and those other two are his drinking buddies. Come on in, Varon. We know how to throw a party.
Well, they were warned. My conscience is clear. You ready? Hey,
On dirait qu'ils ont compris le message.
let's check inside this villa. Make sure we got them all.
Oh, yeah? Oh, no.
Dark days, Rigmor.
Was that really necessary? Yngol said you knew my dad.
Indeed, I learned a lot from him during the Great War. His men were unparalleled on the field. We fought at the Battle of the Red Ring together. Later in Hammerfell, he saved my life. I remember it as clear as if it were yesterday. Would you like to hear about that battle?
That sounds great.
The end was drawing near. The battle had been raging for 2 days, and it was the Dominion's final push. They thought they had the victory in their hands, and sent in everything they had. Their elite guards at the front, the rest of their army following behind. Trumpets, conches, shields bashing, horns. The noise was tremendous. The Dominion arrows blocked out the sun and turned the day to night as they made their way steadily up the hill. The wind blew in dark storm clouds from the east and it began to rain. It poured, rolling thunder above our heads. The roar of 10,000 men as General Jonna rode down from the hill to personally dictate the battle. Jonna gave the order, and the Nords charged the Altmer elite guards head on. There was an almighty crashing of shields on steel armor, and the Altmer front line was shunted back 10 yards by the sheer force of the Nord shield wall. They tried desperately to break through it, but the hammers and broadswords behind the wall fell on them time and time again. Still the arrows rained down on us. Still the rain poured down on us, but Jonna made us stand. We waited and waited. Finally, he gave the signal, the Legion to advance in rank and file on their left flank. Our horns and conches sounding, bashing the sides of our shields above the roar of the battle. We inched our way toward until we were 10 yards from them. They came charging on us as one, but our line held, and inch by inch we pushed them back. The clash of steel deafening. Word swept through the ranks that Titus's army had entered the Imperial city. Titus! 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 We roared. Then it happened. The Dominion command left the field. Their army faltered and broke ranks. 15,000 men fling the battlefield. Throwing away their weapons, armor, anything that would slow them down was discarded in the panic. The Altmer elite guards stood to and died to a man, refusing quarter offered. Your father was decorated on the field by Jonna himself.
Casius, you mentioned my dad saved your life?
Ah, yes. I was in the ranks back then. After the Concordat, I left the army and settled in northern Skyrim. I was thinking of buying a mill with my army pension when I heard of the resistance in Hammerfell. So I offered my services to the Red Guard High Command. I found myself commanding a battalion, mostly volunteers. We had been attached to the 5th Army, which was making a push deep into enemy-held territory when the treaty was signed. We were cut off and had been ordered out of territory still controlled by the Dominion. Panic started to set in and it became a full rout. The elves descended on us and began cutting us to pieces. Men, women, children.
Women and children?
Dark days, Rigmor. The army was scattered and we had taken on thousands upon thousands of refugees, all running for their lives. The baggage train was 5 miles long. The rivers ran red with blood. It was a massacre. We had to ford the last great river before safety, but we were all stranded on the wrong side of the bank. It seemed there was no hope. The desperation was almost too much to bear. Of course, the soldiers were fighting a desperate rearguard. I myself at the helm of my men. There was at least 50,000 refugees now, only about 2,000 fighting men left. The relief effort arrived and boats were slowly coming across. Women were throwing their babies into the boats. Grown men were sobbing on the bank. Some just gave up. The elves hacked and cleaved their way freely through the mass of bodies. Then we heard it. Everything stopped. Everything went quiet. Even the children stopped crying. The elves held their swords and gaped in the direction of the sound. It was like a pulsating, rolling thunder, as if the sky itself was being torn apart. Then we saw it. The banner of Ragnar the Red, coming over the crest of the hill. 2 golden gilded longhorns each side which sounded like the call of the anger of the gods. The thunder was the Nords bashing their swords against their shield wall. Then came the battle cry of 3,000 berserkers as they charged into the mass of Dominion troops. Even though they were outnumbered 3 to 1, the roar and cheer from both sides of the bank as the berserkers slew and slew and slew. The elves routed. Oh, how they ran. They were shown no mercy. No quarter was given. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a life for a life. Ragnar rallied the remaining Red Guard, held rear guard himself until every single survivor was brought to shore safely. I owe your father a debt of gratitude I could never repay. He was eventually blamed for that massacre. Rigmor, if ever you need me to testify, to clear your family name, I will be there in a heartbeat. You should be very proud of your father. He was greatly feared by his enemies and loved by his friends.
I think I now know why he never talked about the war. Thank you, Casius. I'll remember that offer.
Now it seems things have come full circle, and total war could once again be upon us. It is such a pity that fool Ulfric seems to think it wise to pitch brother against brother. And for what? Freedom from the Empire? Skyrim needs the Empire. All this bickering, so petty. What is it he shouts? Skyrim for the Nords? I wonder what he has in store for those poor souls who are not Nords. The Stormcloaks and the Thalmor deserve each other. Once we all fought the same common enemy, together, side by side. Ah, the enemy of my enemy.
Is my friend.
You won't have any trouble from me. I can assure you Tullius will honor any forthcoming agreement. Your problem will be convincing Ulfric's Stormcloak. I hope Yngol can knock sense into his thick skull. We had better be going before any Stormcloaks arrive. Let's head back to camp. Before you go, Rigmor, I have one more thing for you. Like I said, I owe your father a debt of gratitude for my life. I would like you to have this.
Oh my. Cassius, it's beautiful.
It was my mother's. I want you to have it. Please, say you'll take it.
The stones are beautiful. What are they?
Black diamonds.
Black diamonds? I've never seen these before.
When the time comes, Rigmor, you will know what to do with them. Hey.
Bien, merci, Cassius. Et à une prochaine fois.
Farewell. Until next time.
Tout est en ordre. Partons vite, avant que je ne rejoigne la Légion.
Yeah. I think I'm good.
Allons à Fayez. Barendar a peut-être trouvé la crête au diamant.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Débarrassons-nous de ces fringues. Je commence à avoir de l'urticaire.
Oh my. Yeah, whatever, Dragonborn.